Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lisa, are you going to do the roll?
I'm doing the roll call. Bob Valdez.
Here.
Gwen Dusa. Here. Mike Gunner.
Here.
Ann Lewis. Barbara McHenry. Here. James Eitzen.
Present.
Sherry Hayes.
Here. Get the minutes of July 26, 2021 meeting approved.
I'll make a motion to move to approve the minutes of July 26, 2021 as presented.
Support. Moved and supported to approve the minutes of July 26, 2021 meeting. Any corrections, questions? If not, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Mike.
Yes.
Gwen.
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
Barb.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Bob.
Yes, minutes are approved. Presentations and communications. Don't have any. Public comment on items on the agenda.
Do you want to speak to your agenda item at all?
I can, yeah. Please state your name and your address.
Scott Riley, 9824 North Blueberry Drive, White House, Ohio. I'm here on behalf of Blissfield Community Schools, and I see it's an agenda item already, so I'm not going to bore you with the details. I think you kind of have the basics of why I'm here. We did not receive a water bill in June, and as a result, we had accumulation of $810.44 in late fees. This is going my third year with the district. I talked with Sue Nivkowski, who's been part of the district for many years. She couldn't remember us ever missing a payment for a water bill. So we're here asking, and I did talk to Brandon. He recommended that we go ahead and pay the late fee, that way we don't have additional fees on top of it. So we have done that. So we are looking for a reimbursement for that late fee. So thank you.
Thank you. With the agenda in front of us, any unfinished business?
Yes, I have a little bit of a list here if you wouldn't mind. One of the things I'd like to talk about that we had discussed earlier, one of our earlier meetings, is regarding the changing of our company from Bockmeyer to someone else, another company. And I'd like to know if it was something we had discussed, as well as the attorney a couple months ago. And I was curious if we were still on that same wavelength of thought. And if so, when we might consider looking at that change, making a bid for new engineers. I don't know if it's something we want to wait until after the budget is completed, which would of course be October. Or is it something that we wanted to go ahead and start the bidding process now, so that when our fiscal year starts, that we would have somebody new on board perhaps. So it's just old business. I thought I'd bring it up to have a little discussion if needed.
Well, I definitely think it's our intention to change engineers. That's my thought. We've, personally, I haven't really been pleased with Bockmeyer completely and some of their items that they've worked on. And then we have the interim attorney currently, and we're going to, bid out for permanent services. So that's, and when we want to do that is up to us as a council.
We don't have a formal engineer. We bid out projects and the engineers come to us and provide us their services. It's not like Bockmeyer is officially the village's engineer.
Okay,
So what we would do is just the next project that comes down the pipe, we do RFQs for engineering firms, and then we can pick on that and we can choose with them. We've just stuck with Bockmeyer because they know the village, they know our system and our process.
I understand. Okay, I was under the impression that
They're not a formal.
that they were formally part of it. So for example, the most current venue with the wastewater treatment plant, we just simply went with them, but we could have gone with someone else, is what I'm hearing you say. I did not realize that. Okay, so when we have our next big project, whatever it may be, we can go
Put that out
ahead
for bids.
and we can go out that for bid then. Okay, gotcha. All right, well then I think that takes care of that then.
And may I add something as well? This actually came up with the water treatment plant, who does need, and I believe wastewater will be the same way once it's fully up and running and rebuilt, but they do need to consult with engineers pretty routinely, just in regards to different things going on in the complexity of the plants. So staff and I talked about trying to do maybe a master service agreement with an engineer where we could have somebody on standby and we would go out or do a request for proposals and you guys would have to select and approve that. So that is something that's on my radar. And then as Mike stated, specific projects could change. You don't have to, that master service agreement doesn't limit you to only using that engineer. It just gives us the ability that if we, and I'm gonna use the water plant for example, have something going on there where we need to work with them or get some things accomplished for the for Eagle through the need survey, then we have that engineer on call that we can reach out to and get that assistance. So that is something that's on my radar,
Okay,
as well as the legal services, because those are interim. It's just something that I've not focused on yet. If this council wants me to do that, I'm certainly willing to shift some focus towards that project.
in light of watching the meeting, the last meeting there in July, and my understanding that it took a length of time for Mr. Jubai to get materials to you, Mrs. Gross, as well as Mr. Schaefer. I am absolutely disgusted with the amount of time frame and that the paperwork has taken this length of time to be turned over. Does our attorney, to your knowledge, have all of the material at this time?
Jeff did bring into my office, he met me in person and brought all of his documents, which I did give to Mr. Schaefer.
Okay, so
To my knowledge, yes, he does have everything that Jeff had.
well, that is definitely something that I would like for you to put on the radar. In particular, I know that we, as the ad hoc committee, we retained Mr. Jubai's services because it was something that we felt was the right thing to do. At this particular time, with the unprofessional work that he showed, the lack of collaboration that he has shown, I say, I'd like to get on that as soon as possible.
Okay.
I just think that that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we did a favor, in my opinion, by allowing Mr. Jubai to continue in the current process. You just don't do that to your village, and you don't do that to your council, and you don't do that to your residents. No. I'm very disgusted with it.
And two, at the next week's committee of the whole, one of the agenda items is to get update to date on current projects and direction to myself. So I think what we can do at that meeting, if you're good with it, is talk about what your priorities as a council are for me to start working on, and if that's one of them, then we'll go from there. Just so we're all on the same page, if that works.
Yeah, thank you. One of the other things as far as old business is concerned, I had asked before for a report from the attorney. We never did receive a report from Mr. Jubai. I would like to go ahead and request some sort of report from our interim attorney so that we know what is being worked on. I would like to see that. I think council has asked for that and had the impression that was going to take place. It has not taken place. But of course, with you coming on board, Ms. Gross, that's understandable. Okay.
And your whole picture, all items that are being worked on?
You know, I don't know what council would like for that. I just think that I know that we're supposed to learn from our mistakes. And I think one of our mistakes was not holding Mr. Jubai accountable. And I'd like to make sure that Mr. Shaver is doing what we expect of him.
Okay.
So I don't know how in-depth council would like that report to be. Mike, do you have a preference on what you're looking for, what you'd like to see?
No, just some sort of update on where we're at, we would talk to Generator or Generac and, we're in the courts here, or just for example, just giving a quick update.
It
With the
doesn't
next set of things that we're working on.
exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything that's so crazy detailed.
Okay.
But I think that what's going on with Generac, what's going on with the different trust funds, what's going on with this situation, what's going on with this house that's been burned. I mean, nothing has been up to date in the past, and that needs to stop.
I will definitely talk to Phil about that. I know that he and I will actually be presenting some items or an item to you at the next meeting on the 23rd. So he'll already be in attendance. I will see if he can do that meeting, and then what we can do is just get him scheduled for maybe the second meeting of every month that he can do a report to you guys.
That'd be great. James, do you have anything in particular that you guys would like, anybody else on the board, anything else that you would like to see?
No, I just don't want to lose sight of anything. Yeah, so we can just continue getting a monthly update, so as not to lose sight.
The status.
Of any legal issues.
Okay,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I can definitely talk to Phil, who I'm sure will be more than willing to do that.
Thank you.
Speaking of reports, someone that I would like to, we have not talked about is the library. I would like to see what the library has going on. And I know that they have not in the past provided a report. I'd like to see if they can begin providing us a report. I'd like to see what's going on with our finances with the library, as well as what's happening with their staff, what's happening on a
I do recall
detailed
Bob
basis.
Behringer giving a presentation.
He did with the presentation, but I would like to see, if I'm understanding correctly, there's a significant portion of our general funds that go to the library. And I'd like to see I'd like to see more of a report status versus just information on our paperwork. I mean, that information is provided, and I certainly appreciate that. But as a team, we all need to have some reports, and as you said, let's be up to date on what's going on there as well. If everybody else is doing reports, let's get the library on board if we can.
And to, again, the committee of the whole meeting, so first agenda item, the boards will actually be presenting just a quick update to you guys, and then that's also an opportunity for you to give feedback to them. So what your expectations are of them, to make sure that the boards and council are moving forward in a good direction, and then that'll be followed with my portion. So hopefully that meeting next Monday will help just again, kind of refocus all of the groups and boards and make sure we're going the same way.
That sounds more like a treasurer's report on the library fund rather than.
Maybe it is more of a treasurer's report. That's a good point. That is a good point. The next thing is, I didn't see anything, last month, I believe Mr. Rowe provided us a report regarding South Monroe, and I was curious of what the status is of the home on South Monroe. I haven't heard anything, so I didn't know if Ms. Gross, if you could check on that to see what the status is.
Yes, and I believe.
Actually, if I can interrupt, Bob and I ran into the homeowner
Oh, good.
and got an update. He continues to make progress, was happy with how things were progressing on the outside. And although he wasn't sticking to his original list in order, he was sticking to the same timeline to wrap up the project for the outside portion per se before he goes inside and starts the demolition reconstruction. So he's shuffled things around to accommodate other subcontractors.
But things are still progressing.
Things are progressing.
Oh, good.
He was very happy with the progress.
Have you driven by there lately?
I have.
Other than keeping the weeds down, he's done nothing to the outside of the house,
Well,
other than board up some windows.
I think but he said this is the process, right? He was
Right.
getting
He's
the
got till
dumpster.
October to
Right.
finish that up.
Right.
The outside.
I think it would be prudent, since it was a commitment that we, the board, determined would be done, is Mr. Roach would be connecting with us on a monthly basis or on a very regular basis, and he did last month. But this is the month now, so I don't wanna lose, that's one of those things, I don't want us to lose sight of, that we've said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and have this on a monthly report, and then what one person's saying doesn't look like a whole lot's being done, and other people are saying, well, the guy says things are being done. I think if Mr. Roach were to give the report, that would be what was.
And we do have him scheduled to come at the next meeting.
Okay.
I can tell you too that a roof permit was pulled
Okay.
for that property, so they are making some progress.
Okay, and what about our telephone issues? Has that been resolved with the duplicate telephone lines or lines that were issues with the lines? Lisa, is anything going on with that as of yet?
No, we still, there's so many that we aren't quite sure if they go somewhere or
Right.
not, and it's hard to tell. We are still whittling down on the list, so I'm hoping soon. Unfortunately, we did have Holly was off and then Brandon's off, so it's hard. It's easier if there's two of us that are working on it, so hopefully once Brandon gets back at the end of the month, we can start working on it.
Is that costing us money on a regular basis for these extra lines that we don't have?
Yeah.
So this is, and I'm not
Yeah.
faulting anyone, you understand this, Lisa.
I
I'm
do.
just saying this is
Yeah.
costing us as we continue to have to wait
Yes,
for reasons understandable. We are having a cost incurred.
yes.
Okay, thank you. One last one, then I will be done, I promise, is status on the electrical inspector. I know that the resignation was given. I couldn't remember what his date was, but I was just curious of when, what the status is of that, please.
So his final date is September 15th, so we have a little bit of time. Lisa was trying to pull the last posting that we did for the job instead of trying to recreate it again so that we could get that out there. We have talked to Lou, who does not have any potential candidates. We are in the same boat as some other communities that he works for. So we have all reached out to each other and we said, first one that finds somebody, give us a call. And we've agreed to do the same for them. So hopefully one of the communities will find something. And I know that Lisa is working on getting that posted.
Delightful, thank you. Those were all my questions.
I just have one piece of unfinished business. We know we're getting funding through the American Rescue Plan. And we had talked back in the spring about coming up with some projects that we'd like to see that money go toward. I got an email today from the county asking for my input on how the county should spend theirs. So there's other municipalities already got the ball rolling on this. I just don't want to be behind the eight ball on it. I think between all of us up here in the department heads, we need to get a list of projects, things that need to be done, and then get that survey together and get the public's input on it. I think that community survey is important. So I would just like to see that go sooner rather than later.
I saw that in the paper that one of the other communities is having something with their residents and asking for their opinion as well, because there could be something that they're noticing, that we've not been in touch with necessarily.
Right?
And I think I agree with that, Jerry Goldhart, with giving the residents, here's what we think, but what else might we be missing?
And if you send out a survey, you could always leave that last
Yes.
comment. What else have you seen that's not been listed here or something like that?
Agreed.
But that one I got from the county was pretty extensive.
If there isn't any other unfinished business, we're going to new business. No new business, go to payroll. There's a motion. Payroll register.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll register for July 2021 in the amount of $126,194.25.
I'll support. Moved and supported to approve the payroll register for 2021 in the amount of $126,194.25.
I have a couple questions, Lisa, and I'm sure, what is the easiest way for me to ask you about these items? Is it easier to tell you the page out of the total packet?
We're on electronics first.
Oh, my apologies, it is electronics. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Brooke, it's actually 126, 184, 25, must just be a typo in there.
Oh, excuse me.
According to this sheet.
Aren't any other questions? Can you call the roll, Lisa?
Barb? Yes. Jerry?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes,
James?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. The electronic transaction approved.
When you can say the page number.
out of the whole packet? Yeah, okay.
We're going on to the bills of August 2021. Do you have any questions now?
Page 11, Lisa. And it is 157842. Advertisement, movies on lane, and newsletter. And I was just curious with the pool professional services, I wasn't sure how that fit into that category. It's not a big deal, just curious of how that all comes together.
I don't know the answer to that, so I will have to see why it was coded that way. I'll follow up on.
Gotcha, and there's another one, I think, on the same page, the 157914, why that was coded that way as well, with the pool professional services, with the advertisement, flyers, and signs.
Okay, I will pull both of those up and get back with you.
Thank you, and then on page 34, I have a question.
Page 34 of the packet.
Of the packet, correct, yes. That's what she said worked out better. It is 0622. Oh, just asking a question. Three Bridges Boutique, that's where the uniforms were purchased from that particular store, is that correct?
Some of them, yes. So they received shirts, also
Okay.
shirts, and they purchased them from there.
Understand. Just asking, is that a conflict of interest with our DDA person owning
Right.
or partial ownership of that business? I just asked so that it's out there on the table.
What was the item, Lisa?
They purchased some shirts for the pool, and it was through Three Bridges. They make up shirts.
Well,
You can get back with us.
I can get back to you on that,
That's fine.
but I think there's definitely, if we follow protocol and got multiple quotes, that we are good. But let me get back to you on that.
And I'm sure that we did. And the reason I'm bringing it up is just so it's out there very clear and nobody can say something's trying to come through that wasn't done appropriately. And that way, if it's out here and it's on the table, we all know it was done correctly. And I'm sure that it was. I just wanted to clarify it. Okay, all right, thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on the bills? And then I'll take a motion to pay the bills.
I'll move to approve the accounts payable for the period of July 14th, 2021 to August 10th, 2021 in the amount of $195,237.16.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the accounts payable for the period of July 14th, 2021 to August 10th, 2021 in the amount of $195,237.16. Are any other questions? You can call the roll, Lisa.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Bills are paid. First action item is bid award 2021 crack filling project. Would you like to go over the background?
Yes, Honorable President and Council. So we did bid out the Public Works crack filling project. This is funding that has been allocated in this fiscal year. We received one bid from, drawing a blank on the name now, I apologize, K&B, goodness, Asphalt. It was in the amount of $46,124.14. There's several areas or streets that are proposed to get the crack filling. One of the things that I do want to talk about is specifically, in addition to any questions you may have, is the parking lots. The parking lots are owned by our DDA Main Street program. However, they do not have the funding to do the crack filling on these parking lots. They do need to be done. So council does have a couple options here. We can award the bid in full or partially. So you guys can choose to deduct the parking lots. However, if we decide to award the full thing, that I just want to be clear that that funding would come from the municipal streets fund and not from the DDA fund. So you guys have kind of a couple options there. If we award this full project, it is well within our appropriated funding for this year, so I have no concerns there. But if you have any questions, I will try to answer them.
I don't have any questions regarding the two parking lots, because ultimately the village does own them. We did receive an email from the new Little League president this week, and that Little League ballpark has quite a large parking lot. Was that considered in any of this?
Yes, that parking lot actually needs more than crack sealing though. It needs to be refinished. So
Okay.
that, I actually had a conversation with Brent about that today. And then I am meeting with Jake on Wednesday to do a walkthrough, look at some issues that we actually do have on our radar. Even prior to his email, Brent had sent me dugouts, painting, things like that, so.
What about the second parking lot at Bockmeyer? Which is the other Little League field, not with there is some off-street parking there. Do these road quotes include?
So this one specifically does not. I would have to double check with Brent and get back to you on where that's slated to be within his priorities. But I do know that he monitors the parking lots pretty well. So I'm sure that it's in his plan, but as to where, I can't, I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Just a quick question while we're talking about K and B and redoing parking lots. I noticed the parking lot had been done at the water treatment plant.
Yes,
Did that come out of their
that
budget?
did come out of water treatment's
I
budget.
just want to make sure. Thank you. It looks nice. Make a motion that we award the bid for street crack filling, parking lot filling, K&B Asphalt Seal Coating Incorporated, the amount of $46,124.14. I'll support.
Who is supported to approve the 2021 street crack filling project in the asphalt ceiling incorporated in the amount of $46,124.14. Do you have questions?
Are we gonna approve the two parking lots that are leaving?
No, that's what.
That's included. That's the
The
total.
46 is the total with the parking lots.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry.
All right,
I know Brent probably has talked about this, or whatever, but I just want to make sure we're not doing the gutter pan. Number one, that saves us money, and number two, it's just not necessary on the concrete. I want to make sure that the contractor does do the gutter pan.
For the next item.
No, for the crack filling,
Oh,
There's
no
no
gutter
filling.
pan, okay.
Mike, what is a gutter pan?
the actual concrete, like on a curb street, the concrete curb be the flat part of the curb on the
Okay.
road. There's no point in filling those cracks. Those are concrete cracks.
Understand.
And generally, they just do the joining between the asphalt and the concrete itself.
Gotcha.
I can confirm that. Sorry, you started talking concrete, so I went to the
All right.
sidewalk part.
all right, Lisa, you can call the roll.
Gwen,
Yes.
Barb. Yes. Jerry.
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes, motion approved. Item number 4, bid award 2021 sidewalk replacement project.
Honorable President, City Council or Village Council, we received one bid for this item as well. This is just again part of our annual maintenance to take care of some of our sidewalks. Al Smith concrete bid for $16,084. This is split up between major and local street funds. We are required per Act 51 to do a portion of non-motorized pathways or areas, so this does help us to meet our requirement. In fact, it is over the minimum. Again, it is well within our appropriated funding for the year, so I have no concerns there, and I'm recommending award. If you have questions, I will try to answer.
Aren't any other questions?
I didn't see the actual bid. Did I miss it? Was it in our packet?
I believe it was right after the bid tabulation.
Would have been page 44.
44.
It's not extensive.
It is not, it is a single page. So I do have,
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay,
Exactly.
I just want to clarify that he's doing the approaches to the pool. Those didn't get completed last year. It was the same contractor, but those need to be done going into the driveway of the pool.
and was that under the previous contract with him?
Yep,
Okay, I will look into that to
Okay.
make sure that that's completed.
and just that those curb cuts, those approaches, whatnot, are done to ADA accessibility. They have the truncated domes, they have the proper warning systems beforehand. I know that's something that we haven't been doing, but again, following safe routes and things like that, the reason being following those ADA standards, I want to make sure that we start doing that or continue doing that.
Okay, perfect. I will make sure I'm both of those.
That being said, I need a motion on that.
I will make a motion to hire Al Smith Concrete to replace the
Next page, Barb. At the very top.
to replace the sidewalks project in the amount of $16,084.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the 2021 sidewalk replacement project, Al Smith Concrete, in the amount of $16,084. If there aren't any other questions, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Jerry,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes,
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes, motion carried. Item 5, approve wastewater treatment plant improvement project, change order number 6.
Honorable President and Council, I do have this in front of you with some information. Denise Plummer with Bockmeyer is on Zoom, and then Steve with the treatment plant is also here in case you guys have questions that I'm unable to answer. They are requesting a change order in the amount of $3,695.40. This is a increase due to the size of our electrical panel. And some changes there as well as adding the on-off automatic switches, the HOA switches to the plant. Overall, you guys started with a $397,309 contingency. If this is approved tonight, that would put us at $108,418.56, leaving you just over $288,000 contingency for the remainder of the project. Again, I would turn the floor over to Steve or Denise if they have anything to add, or if you guys have questions for any of us.
I guess I would like to make a comment, Danielle, if I may. I like this. I don't recall seeing this before, this particular page 54 of our package, you guys. And that's the page that's got the contingency balance on that. Was that something that you put in there then, Danielle, or was that in there before and I just missed it?
I actually added that. I'm not
I love
sure if you've seen it before.
I absolutely love it because it shows exactly what we started out with and where things have been going. And I want to make sure then that I'm reading this correctly. So as you said, there's our original contract price that we can see. There's the contingency. So that's basically the money that when things need to be changed, this is what we have to play with, for lack of better words. Okay. So as we can see here are the things that have been changed so far. And I know that we've talked about, you know, a lot of the changes. If I'm understanding correctly with my math, we've used approximately 25% of our contingency so far. So we're meaning that we have 75% of it remaining. Steve, is this good? Is this bad? Are we on track? I don't know if this is something that you can answer or not.
Yeah, I believe we're on track. I think what they're doing, like I say, with this one, there's a lot of variables in the project to where they don't see it when you get the electricians in there and they start sizing things and going, you know, this particular one was undersized, so they had to rework their bid on that to get the proper sizing in there, which is, you know, it's glad they did that instead of, you know, this is what we have to put in there.
Right.
And they're doing a fine job on that. So yeah, I think we're doing pretty good as far as monies go, contingencies. They seem very diligent and trying to make sure things are working well and staying within the budgets. The general contractor has just several times said to me that we're here to make you guys happy, and they're doing a good job so far.
I hope to get out there this weekend and
Very good.
take a look at things. I have not been out there as of yet. Daniel, you've had experience with this. Is this pretty normal at this stage of the game as far as having, you know, I guess at this stage of the game, meaning 25% of the contingency being spent? Is this pretty normal? Are we more than we should be? Is it less than?
No, I do think that we are on track.
Okay.
I would agree with that. I have done some major projects and there's always contingency, just again, like Steve said, things that are unknown until you get into the project. I mean, this is similar to if we were to go remodel my home, you start tearing out walls, there's going to be unknown things that we just can't see or predict and be prepared for. So I have no issues with where we're at today. I do absolutely think that we need to be monitoring this. It's not something that we should be like, oh, well, we're doing good, so let's just go get what we need to be approving these thoughtfully and making sure that we're doing the best moving forward. Absolutely. But I do believe overall, the project is about 18% completion. So that's fairly in line with where we're at if it is the 25%, which I did not do that math, but I'm sure you're correct. So I do feel comfortable with where we're at, but again, I think we still moving forward need to monitor this and make sure that we're not just going.
I appreciate that page seriously, because that it's spelled out right there. Again, residents can see exactly what we started out with, what the contingency was, and what it's been spent on.
Well, I will continue to do that if more change orders come, and then just, I guess, informational. If you look at the change order number, you will notice that there's one missing, and that's because there was no cost associated with that change.
Thanks, Steve.
I just have one question for Steve. The handoff auto switches are like when you enter a room, lights come on. Is that what that is?
No, that one there,
They're actually dials.
Okay.
So they're they almost look like little circles with the lines, so you can put it in on, auto, or off. So you switch the dial to whatever setting that you're needing for whatever the thing.
Yeah, this is Danielle, this is Denise with Bockmeyer. I think in this case, those handoff autos, those were actually for the blowers. So that Steve could make the decision if he wants it to go off of the control scheme with the settings that are in there, or if he wants to manually set something.
Right. Okay. Yeah, there's several, couple different things in there that was, some of our samplers and the different things that the state's pushing in there that we have to do. And so I was kind of not quite sure which one of all these were, but yeah, it's actually our blower. No, you're fine.
Position switch.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, she's exactly right there. Because that first,
Good question.
yeah, that's kind of what held our blowers up on that for a while, because
This price.
they're trying to get that situated there as to what we wanted to do on that, so. yeah,
So with that being said, any other questions on that? And there's a motion on that?
Go ahead.
I move to approve wastewater treatment plant upgrade project change order number 6 for electrical charges due to panel size and some HOA switches for a net increase of $3,695.40. And authorize the village administrator to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the governing body related to this change order.
I'll support.
That motion's been moved and supported. Can you call the roll on the motion as presented, please?
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion approved. Next, item 6, approved with payment of wastewater treatment plant improvement project.
Honorable President and Council, I do have 2 parts to this pay request that'll go to USDA. It includes a payment from our contractor LaSalle, as well as a payment to Bockmeyer. LaSalle's payment after retainage is $288,899.89, and then Bockmeyer's is $46,868.12. If you guys have questions, I will try to answer them or defer to Denise probably.
There aren't any questions. We have a recommended motion.
I'll make a motion to move to approve in connection with the Village of Blissfield wastewater treatment plant upgrade project engineer application for payment number 3R, Bockmeyer Design Group dated July 26th, 2021, in the amount of $46,868.12. And contractor pay app number 5 from LaSalle Construction Group Incorporated dated July 31st, 2021, in a net amount of $288,899.87 on contract number 123-700-00011.
Support. And the motion moved and supported. Can you call the roll on that? That is on the motion as presented, please.
Barb,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion passed. Item 7, resolution policy and procedures of meetings.
President and Council. So I am taking advantage of being new. As its benefits, sometimes you get to bring in a fresh perspective. I did find well, I shouldn't say find, but with staff, there was a policy that was created in 2003 for meetings. And one of the things I wanted to really focus on is streamlining the process and making things easier. I would like to encourage participation from our citizens and feedback. So I am proposing that we revise that policy, and this one would supersede that previous 2003 policy. This just brings us up to, like I said, make it easier for everybody and just to make sure that we are following all rules and Open Meetings Act, things like that. I did draft this up. I asked Lisa and the rest of staff to look at it, just make sure I wasn't missing something and that they were also comfortable with it. And this is the final version that we were all good with and would like to present to you guys. If you have questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
If you have any questions, we have a recommended motion.
I just have one question. Did you consult with Phil at all on this, or?
I did. I
You did?
should have mentioned that. Yes, he did review this, and I had talked to him actually prior and after.
Thank you.
We still have a recommended motion.
I'll make a motion to move to approve the resolution adopting and approving the policy and procedures for meetings as presented effective August the 10th, 2021.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the resolution adopting and approving the policy and procedures for meetings as presented effective August 10, 2021. Any other comments or questions? If not, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Gwen,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion carried. Item 8, resolution policy and procedures for temporary suspension of shut-off of utility service.
This item came actually from our last meeting when we had the discussion about Department of DHS and the Community Action Agency. So we did draft up this policy. I did initially draft it, but I did send it to Brandon to get some feedback from him because he just has more knowledge than I do. He had a few revisions and this is the final draft again. We feel comfortable with this. Brandon was good with this policy and making sure that he knew what was expected and what his abilities were. But if you have any questions or changes, we are open to them.
Is this something that Mr. Shaver had to take a look at as well, or was not
I
necessary?
did not have him look at this one. If you would like me to, I certainly can do that. But I did not.
This is basically like an inter-office procedure.
Yes, this is just a really kind of staff policy. But it is coming to you guys because it is tied to the bills, which we aren't doing payments for. So and I guess just so it's publicly stated as well, and if anybody wants a copy of this, they can get it. But what our intent is that we would give a 1-month extension, not to exceed that, only because these agencies are overloaded. They're short-staffed, which I know all of us have the same issue. So it's taking them some time to process it, and they're not able to meet the deadline in making that bill and turn late. So we're suspending that shut off to keep water on, but it does clearly state that we will have to receive an email stating who the payment will be for, so that we know it's not, I didn't come in, I'm like, well, Lisa, they're gonna send it, and we never see it. And then it's only for 1 month. They cannot get anything additional, and any part that is not paid by the agency would need to be paid in full by the customer.
So if you guys receive an email from Community Action, then you'll extend the 1 month?
Correct, only if we receive that email. We need that written documentation to have that backup.
Because this is in-house, for lack of better words, versus the meeting. I understand what you're saying about Mr. Shaver, but okay. Thank you, Daniel.
This is formalizing the practices that were discovered,
Yes.
which I think were well intended. So I thank you for formalizing this process for us. So I'll make a motion to approve the resolution adopting and approving the policy procedures for meetings. Oh, that's not the right one. Move to approve the resolution adopting and approving the policy procedures for temporary suspension of shut off of utility services as presented effective August 10th, 2021.
Moved and supported to approve the resolution adopting and approving policy and procedures for temporary suspension of shut off of utility services presented effective August 10th, 2021. Any other comments or questions? If not, you can call the roll, Lisa.
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion carried. Item 9, approved closed bid auction of 2010 Ford Explorer.
Honorable President and Council, we do currently have a 2010 Ford Explorer that we are no longer in need of. We would like to do a closed bid to get rid of this item. I'm hoping that we can be fast enough to get it off before our insurance renewal and not pay a premium. It does have several miles, I think 97,000 miles on it. Chief is here if you guys have specific questions about this item. And as you guys know, we did receive our new police vehicle, so.
When was this vehicle taken out of service, the 2010?
Sitting in the parking lot now. So just as soon as we got the new car back.
So it's been a couple of weeks.
Just a couple weeks.
Yeah,
It's actually
So-
been sitting out there a week,
So it's not the one you're driving?
not anymore, no. It was,
That's the one you've been
that was the
driving?
one I was driving, yes.
So does that mean then you're gonna drive a different one?
The old one that we just took out of service, 16.
As a 15, you said?
16.
16.
I've got no problem selling it. I just want to be honest to the public or whoever the purchaser is that it does have issues, and I want to make sure that we state that. I'm not trying to rip anybody off or, you know what I mean, have somebody come back on us, sell them, whatever it is. But let's just get the information out there. If you're concerned with it.
But it's old, I mean, it's got mechanical issues.
And we can include that in the bid information when we set the closing date, and it will be an as-is purchase, so we will.
When we sell these vehicles, do you have them sign any form of as-is statement?
It's just like any other used car sale, it's
You
just
sign
sign
the
off
title.
titles, it's their.
I'm just asking, and Chief, please, I'm gonna preface this, please don't be offended. Could you continue to use this as your vehicle to go back and forth and resell the 2016 and get a better price?
This car needs major vehicle repairs. I've held off because I didn't want to spend the money on an older vehicle. I mean, it's 11, 12 model years
True.
old.
Yeah.
But the estimated repair costs right now exceed the value of the car.
They do, okay.
That being said, I'll move we authorize advertising for sale by closed auction bid the 2010 Ford Explorer. Been as stated as is with a closing date in time for the receipt of bids to be sent by the village administrator.
Support. There's a motion made and supported. Can you call the roll on that motion as presented, Lisa?
Jerry,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, motion carried. Item 10. Approved penalty waiver fee request. Mr. Riley's here if you have any other questions. I think you explained it pretty well.
Move council approve the late penalty fee waiver in the amount of $810.44 for Blissfield Community Schools.
Support. Moved and supported to approve the late penalty fee waiver in the amount of $810.44 for Blissfield Community Schools. Any questions or comments?
I do have just one question for Mr. Riley. Are you wanting a check refunded or just the credit to the bill would be sufficient?
Credit be sufficient.
Okay,
That make it easier on both ends.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Will you call the roll, Lisa?
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Motion carried. Thanks for your patience.
No, thank you, appreciate it.
We're on to reports. Village administrator.
We have one more.
One more, the amendment.
Oh, yeah, the amended, sorry.
I printed off the agenda, it should be on there with the extra ones.
Oh, yeah. I didn't look at that one, sorry. Item 11. One-time fee waiver for Blissfield Community Schools for the use of the aquatics. Would you like to discuss that?
Yes, so we did receive a request. The school did a summer school program and would like to use the aquatic center this Thursday. Hence the amendment from 9 to 11. Some of those kids do have the annual passes, some do not. So I'm not sure the exact amount, but if we assumed that none of the kids had the pass, it would be not more than $150. They are looking for just the one-time waiver to be able to use the facilities. I do fully support this as a partnership with the schools. But if you have questions, I will try my best to answer them as they did talk to Heather, but.
I'll make a motion to approve the one-time aquatic center daily use fee waiver for the Blissfield Community Schools. Support.
Moved and supported to approve the one-time aquatic center daily use fee waiver for the Blissfield Community Schools. Any questions or comments?
Why are we as council being asked to waive these fees? I mean, why can this not be done through Parks and Rec department?
Staff does not have the authority or the ability to waive a fee. Anything related to budget, appropriations, anything would have to be approved by council. If you as council want to look at that and give the administrator or staff some level of authority, then we could look at doing a revision either to the ordinance and or a policy to see how that would best work. I'd have to do some more research to know, but right now we just don't have that authority to do so.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Can we call the roll on that?
No.
Okay, you can call it.
Okay.
Gwen,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes, thank you. Motion carried. Reports, village administrator report.
So I have been very busy with the budget. I will actually be bringing to you guys on the 23rd, no motion or anything, just the budget itself for you to be able to start looking at. There is a lot to it, so I wanted to be able to give you guys some time to digest it, be able to come meet with me if you have questions, and then we will be moving forward after that. The week of the 30th, I'm working on setting up some budget work sessions as well, but just to give you an update on that, things are moving along. I have been trying to send you guys some weekly summaries as well, and including a little snippet of the budget. If you have something for me prior to then, please let me know. I did send this in an email too. I did reach out to some local companies about the bag tag service, so I've included that information if you have questions. I did want to take just a minute to thank a couple of our youth here in Blissfield. Jacob, Braden, and Eli found a wallet at one of our parks, and the 3 young men came in and turned it in. I just thought that was really responsible and awesome of them, so I just wanted to take a second to thank them. In my short time, I've learned quickly that we have some pretty amazing people in our community, which is wonderful. And then I did include a project list, continuing to work on the wastewater treatment plant upgrades, working through some pool issues, budget preparation. I am working on remote access for staff to be able to work remotely from home in certain situations. And then I have reached out to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights to try and get some sensitivity training for the employees, as well as some other items that I think that I believe they have the ability to offer some free training for us at no cost. But we'll be letting you guys know that some more. And then one thing that's not on my report that I just wanted to add, I did send out an email. There was a press release today for the Lenawee County requiring masks at their county facilities now. Currently, there is only a recommendation to have a mask requirement in public places, regardless if you're vaccinated or not. I am going to continue monitoring this closely to make sure if anything changes that we're prepared. I will be sure to let you guys know and keep you informed. If you have any questions about it, let me know. We do have an adopted emergency preparedness response plan for COVID that we will be working off of. If anybody needs a copy of that just to refresh their memory, or if you feel like we need to review that, let me know. But it is a situation I'll be watching with the increases of cases due to the Delta variant. So.
Right. Do you have any questions for Ministry?
Yeah, just quick, just on this whole sensitivity training thing, where's it come from? Not to be insensitive, but.
So that actually stemmed from, my understanding was direction from council to two previous administrators ago, who then passed it on to the previous administrator, who passed it on to me. So that was my understanding of it. I do think that this training will be good for the employees, in addition, like I said, to some other training that really we should probably be doing some more routine training. You know, bloodborne pathogens, sexual harassment, or really any harassment of any kind. So this is just the first step to hopefully getting some additional training and resources for staff. I don't know if that helped or not.
A little bit. I've gone through quote the sensitivity training, and a lot of the times you come out more desensitized. Absolutely.
For the record, police department already does that training on an annual basis. We already have that sort of training, bloodborne pathogens, workplace harassment. So I train on that annually with the officers already. So just want to throw it out there. We're on top of it.
Good job.
We all know you're sensitive, Chief.
I asked her if I was the reason we were doing this. So I thought, well, what did I say and who did I say it to?
I almost said that, but I didn't want to throw it.
There aren't any other questions for Administrator. We'll go to the Police Department.
I have nothing other than my report is submitted.
Is this new, Chief, and perhaps I missed it before, with the monthly statistics on that one page, is that different?
Yeah, as I think there was a paragraph I explained,
There is.
there's a new format.
Okay, so can you elaborate just a little,
Well,
I know what it says, but can you just elaborate of how that
In the years past, all those statistics were tabulated manually. The officers would fill out a spreadsheet at the end of every shift. They would submit those to Holly, they would tally them up, and then I would pick them out and I would manually type them in the report. A couple months ago, we went to the electronic activity log, the daily activity log the officers use, and our records management system. Well, the records management system automatically tabulates all that information for us. In fact, tabulates even more information. So it's very easy for you to just cut and paste it right in the report. So it's a newer format. It's a lot more efficient and actually more information than what you've got in the past.
That's why you said this, you got this format, and that's why you kept the other format, because it was something.
For giving you that year-to-year
Understand.
comparison, I'm gonna keep giving you that older data until we get 12 months worth of data
Right.
in the records
Okay,
management.
that's why I understand that. Okay, good. All right, thank you for clarifying.
And then I have a question then on that, on the bills we just paid, that Clemis report, that's what the software cost.
Yeah, that's the records management system we use, and it is worth every penny. That's through Oakland County, and we benefit from their entire IT support staff up there. And generally, if there's a problem, they're calling me before I even know about it. So it's worth every penny.
So one of the things I was, as I looked through this, okay, like fuel, what is it? I mean, fuel, is it like how long it takes you guys to put fuel into the gas tank?
Yeah, some of the guys will put in there that, they were pumping fuel for 5 minutes and,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, all right.
yeah. That there's, all those categories are in the drop downs, and they can pick them.
And so, okay,
I'll be honest, I don't normally document that I'm putting fuel in cars, it takes
but
5 minutes.
somebody is, I mean, it just depends on what.
And I know who it is, and it's a throwback to his prior career. Because that's what we used to do in Detroit, so
Okay.
that's what Tom, I know it's Tom doing that.
Great. Treasurer's not here, but he's submitted some good reports there.
Yeah, really happy to see those delinquent account balances down
For sure.
for August. Holy cow.
Just for the record, it went, in June, it was $126,359 rounded. And in August, it's $26,642.
$100,000 in 2 months.
$100,000.
Thanks to Brandon and everybody in the office staff for working on this, because it takes a team to get stuff like that done.
Public comment items not on the agenda.
I see, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You are first.
Go ahead.
State your name, address.
Jackie Bates, 114 Sherman Street. With all the talk about the wastewater treatment plant, I haven't heard anything in a long time about what the status is with the fines for the delay of the start of construction for the wastewater treatment plant.
You know anything about the fines that?
I knew
Because
that
if-
you were fined, but I don't know, I would have to look at.
Well, based on the rate, it would have allotted, it came to a very large sum of money.
I will have to look into that to give you accurate information, and I can report that at the next
Okay.
meeting.
And one other thing, the entrance to Jefferson Street off of 223 by Marathon and the railroad track, it's not very well marked, and it's not really a turn, it's a curve. There's a lot of curbing there and everything. And last night and Saturday night with the festivities at the Farm Museum, it's hard to see. With the railroad track, is there something that could be done, paint the curb white, reflect, or better sign or something that it's easier to navigate?
What side are you referring to, the Marathon side or the railroad?
Like coming from Toledo that way,
Okay.
you can see the light, if you're coming, you go past Marathon, you can see it easier, but coming the other way, it's not a turn, and it curves this way and it curves that way. And if you don't, there's those concrete abutments there for the drive to the Farm Museum, it's just not, could be better, it could be better marked.
What you see, the intersection is not lit. You got a light beyond the intersection, you got a light before the intersection, but right at the intersection, it's dark. And if you're coming from the Toledo way, it's hard to see where the curb is to turn. So if you paint that curb a reflective yellow or whatever, you can pick up quicker, what you're trying to say. As long as with
A
it.
stop sign. But there's a couple of times, and yes, that night, but also Saturday night too, with all the festivities at the Farm Museum, and, I looked and then where to turn and all that stuff, so I think there's some improvement could be made.
Thanks for
Okay,
that,
Thank you.
being aware of that. You have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, speaking for the findings, when the project started, that's the official start date was April 5th, is when the fines actually stopped. And it's my understanding that once we get towards either completion or into the project, I believe that they're going to get together with the state and see if there's some kind of middle ground. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe that's what I've heard before. So there could be a mediation of the fines. That's what previous administrators were holding.
From the time that the deadline was till like the end of January, it was close to $100,000.
That's a lot, yes.
Maybe we can ask for a waiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know if I told you that, but we'll try.
Yeah.
Just hope for some
But yeah,
mediation.
even 50,000, that's, you know,
Right.
and it went beyond that, so it could be a considerable
Yeah,
amount.
I think the state was trying to prove their point at
Yeah,
that point,
they did.
and they did. And
Yes, they
Very
do.
good. Sounds good. Mr. Riley?
You don't need me to state my whole address again.
No, we're good.
Okay, just on behalf of Blissfield Community Schools, I want to thank you for waiving the late fees, and then also, more importantly, for giving our kids for summer school the opportunity to go to the pool. You know, it's obviously been a very challenging year for everybody. We have 60 kids enrolled in our summer school program at the elementary. And Robin Francis, our Title I director, has done a phenomenal job. So, in fact, I just texted him, let her know that you guys waived the fees because we were talking about that today. So, just again, thank you, and looking forward to. It's been tough, but this will be my third year going at Blissfield Community Schools, and all 3 years I've dealt with COVID. So that's made it quite the challenge. I have a great rapport with Chief, and I'm hoping to build the same with Danielle. So hopefully we can continue to bridge that gap between the school and community as we move forward. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for taking your time to come and speak with us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a motion to adjourn.
One thing here, wait, just stick with protocol. We used to confirm the committee meeting for next week. Is that something we can add to the agenda for future? It just gives us an idea of what we're going to be talking about, confirm it. And if we want to add or remove any sort of item on those agendas.
Yeah, I was not aware of that, but easily can do that.
I could probably be after the public comment in between there and the adjournment. And then next meeting announcement, would that be like, I mean, I know we're gonna adjourn, but
If you don't have to do anything with that, I just added it to the agenda so that the public could see when the next council meeting was. I know it's routine when they are, but just as a reminder. Once you adjourn, you're still done. It's just putting it out there.
But we are meeting next week for our committee of the whole meeting.
Yes.
Next.
I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Or you call the roll, Lisa?
Yes. Jerry,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.